Howdy. I'm known as Dimwit, the last mountain man, feared throughout the land. Here's my latest project. Or actually, this is John's project, because this is a smokeless powder gun, but I'm getting tired of him trying to take over my channel, so I'm kind of stealing his little project here today. And this is an HWZ Model 21. Okay, and that's Wierauch, Zella, Mehlis. And Zella, Mehlis is a gun-making town in Germany. And that company was a kind of a family company. They had been in business for a long time when this gun was made, and they're still in business. This is a 22 long rifle, target rifle, and that I played around with some. Used to have an aperture sight or diopter sight here on the rear. I've done some work there, and it used to have a front sight, and but I kind of wanted a classic gun with a scope on it. So Model 21, that's 1921, that's when they came up with this. And of course it's based on the old Martini Henry design. It dates back to 1871, I believe. The British used that in their colonies, and they wore something similar to this, I suppose. And production started in 1922, and it ended in 1939. Germany had other things on their mind by then. So what did I do? I shortened the barrel to get rid of the front sight. I squared it off, and I re-crowned the barrel, and I re-blued the end of the barrel, and I got rid of that aperture sight. And this rear part of the gun here was very square and edgy and uncomfortable. So and it had a square hole in it, and a round hole in it, and a screw hole in it for that aperture sight. And so I filled those holes in, and I reshaped the shape of the rear end here. And it's more comfortable now, and I think it looks better. That was the biggest job on this rifle. And I had an old Weaver J4 scope, and I believe this was introduced in 1949. And they made them like this for a few years, and then they redesigned to more modern turrets, and they kept on making them with the same name, J4, but with totally different look. And it has a Weaver mount. Let's see. I'd love for you to be able to read that. I'm not sure if you can. There. Weaver tip-off 22. And this gun has a groove here on top of the barrel for mounting different. I've seen they had a different kind of open sight on there, and you can put a scope on there, but it's wider than a normal 22s. But this Weaver 22 tip-off was just wide enough. I could just barely get it on there, and I think it looks kind of cool. It's sitting real low, so it's a little awkward to load, and I'll show you how that goes. We'll do some shooting, and I'll explain some more about this mechanism. We'll take it out of the gun and give you a closer look. Let's do some shooting. Now, to load it, I just lower this lever, and the top of the gun there tilts down. So it's not a true folding block, it's more a tilting block. It's a Martini Henry design. And I just drop the cartridge down in there, and I kind of point it down, and it just kind of finds its own way down in there, and close it, and now you're ready to go. And then these guns have more of an extractor than an ejector, but I'm pretty sure that extractor kind of pretended to be an ejector in its younger age. But this is a high mileage gun, and it's a little worn, and so it doesn't flip the empty casing out. So I had to make this little stick to kind of dig it out of there. There. So this is an ammo conserving gun. Save a lot of money that way. Okay. The target we're shooting at is kind of a head-size steel gong, and it's at 45 yards. So drop it in there, it dives in there, and I can kind of help it a little bit with my little finger. It barely fits in there. Raise the lever, ready to go. What you just saw happen is that when this cocks the gun, of course, and let's see, dig this out of there. And when you close it, it doesn't take much for it to open again. There on the other end from this lever up, it rubs underneath that tilting block. And when this gun was new, it had kind of a camming action there, and it would be under somewhat of a pressure, and it, and that would help keep the lever up. It would also give more force to the extractor and make it act more like an ejector. But like I said, this is a high mileage gun, but this lever goes up into the stock here. There's a hole here. Yeah, there's a steel plate there with a hole in it, and I can bend this a little bit so it rubs in there if this turns out to be a problem. But this gun doesn't have a safety, so it's got a kind of a limited use. But I'm here at my cabin. You can see the cabin right on my shoulder here, and I got this 45-yard shooting range, and it's just fun blinking gun. I think it's kind of a cool looking gun, classic. So let's see, what else is there to say? A lot of these guns have this really heavy butt plate with this hook that goes underneath your armpit, and they'd have a piece of steel underneath here with threaded holes in it, and then you have this cork, a rod with a round cork on it, and you could screw into these holes, and so they use that for competition shooting. So this is kind of a cheaper version, but it's much nicer for what I wanted it to. So I'm happy with it. The leather sling looks kind of old. It's something I already had, but it's not old. It's bought on eBay from India, I think, and I have a couple of them slings, and now they don't want to ship them to Norway anymore for some reason, and they're really nice. So I already had the scope. I have a collection of vintage Weaver scopes, and I thought this one fit real well. And it's actually a center fire scope with a decent eye relief, so I don't like them rim fire scopes. They almost get into your eye. So and I'm sure a lot of guys are missing this aperture sight, and I'll sell that to help pay for the gun. This is kind of my favorite type of project. It takes something that doesn't have a lot going for it and doesn't cost a lot, and then turn it into something something cool or nice or whatever you want to call it, something worth having. And in Norway, where I live, you can't hardly sell these single shot competition 22 rifles anymore. Nobody wants them, so they're dirt cheap. But I think I managed to turn it into something cool. Looks good on my wall. And it's fun just blinking. This mechanism doesn't have a safety, so it's got kind of a limited use. So you wouldn't want to walk around the woods hunting with it with a loaded gun. I suppose you could kind of have the lever lowered like this and be ready to close it if you absolutely wanted to. Well, I think it's just fun to shoot steel targets, and not so fun to shoot paper targets because getting old. But there's the cabin up there by the barrel, and I'm gonna spend the whole weekend with John's wife up there. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Well, I guess I'm running out of things to say again, and hopefully we'll see you soon, and you know what to do. And if you haven't seen my videos before, check out the other ones I have. See you later.